Yo, what's up? It's your boy DJ L7. Oh my goodness, now I've been watching this content producer for quite some time. I'm very excited, but you're going to find out more about her in a moment. Brought her on my channel. I'll let her introduce herself. Go ahead.
My name is Lucy. This summer I started a small channel called Blue Moon Red Wine, which is a joke about left-wingers and right-wingers. Not a very good joke, but I just needed a name for the channel.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm interested in finding out more. So, so this is, I have an online activist interview series where I'm not sure if you classify yourself as an activist yet, we'll see, but getting involved in this space, making commentary is a form of activism, in my opinion. There's a lot of different things going on, but one of the things is that are you from New York City?
Yeah, I'm from New York like you are.
Yeah, that's very interesting to me. Yeah, there's a lot of local stuff going on, commentary, stuff like that. We are a huge market. There's not a lot of people in the New York's progressive space. There's you, me, Status Quo, and there's some other ones out there, but there's a huge hole. New York City is actually 8.5 million. We're actually larger than the second and the third cities combined. We're actually on the forefront of many issues, so having another content producer in this space is just super duper exciting. So I want to find out a little bit more about the background of yourself. So before you started your YouTube channel, did you ever try to get involved with some groups, or you maybe you saw some problems, you want to try to address them, or was the first thing you tried the YouTube thing?
I was a little bit involved, but not very involved. I think the earliest type of I didn't really consider it activism. I don't really consider myself an activist because I feel like it's the idea that that's what you do full time, and I don't do that full time. I just have regular jobs and stuff.
Wow. All right.
So I think the earliest thing I did was just be part of the tenant association of my building. That's what most people do in New York City. That's the most common form of activism, I guess. But I didn't think of it that way at the time. I was just oh, have to go to these meetings. Okay. And then I did I have gone to a few protests.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say that I'm consistent.
That's okay. When you went to the touring association meetings, did you guys get anything done, or was there some things came up, or what happened with that?
So that was way back when I was a teenager, and it actually didn't really end that well because back then I lived in kind of an area of Manhattan that was being kind of rapidly taken over by Columbia University. Eventually what happened was that a lot of those affordable kind of units just ended up kind of being sold off to the highest bidder, and then we got downsized, and then I had to move. So it didn't really end that well.
Were you in public housing? What kind of housing? Were you in rent control? What kind of housing were you in?
We were in this group of buildings. It wasn't NYCHA. It was called Mitchell-Lama, which was kind of under Section 8. Okay. But it's kind of subsidized, and it's
you mean with vouchers?
You live with people from different wealth brackets.
Okay.
Which so in a way it's a good thing because kind of we got access to amenities that people in NYCHA don't have access to, but it's also a bad thing because when you're around people of different wealth brackets, it's you're kind of a target. The landlord kind of targets you, is okay, we want to get these people out or these people out.
Also, what about the did they have a doorman and weird things like that, the new ones?
Well, initially no, but then yes, they started to market the building more to
yeah, I don't want a doorman. Yeah. I don't want to pay extra for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they put in a doorman, and then the neighborhood got better, and then it was nice for a while, when you're in the in-between time period when the neighborhood is a little bit better, but the price hasn't gone up yet. All right. And then it kind of, kind of got unaffordable, and yeah.
So you had the tenant station going, you did some protests, right? And then you decided to start a YouTube channel. That's pretty much the progression right there.
Yeah, I basically decided to start a YouTube channel when basically like I noticed that a lot of these people that are like professional activists, I guess you would call
Okay.
them,
Yeah.
um that they have like their own email lists and their own shows, and they're able to control the conversation.
That's the idea.
And then I was like, well, like anybody can do a channel, right?
Yeah.
um I just like hadn't thought about it before. I started to think about it because I noticed it was right around when Anna Kasparian had like I basically started no, the first person I started trolling actually was David Pakman, because like I just okay, so like
Is that
David
Rational National?
Pakman David Pakman is Argentinian American like I am, but I
Okay.
think he's like this horrible centrist. And he was just like saying all of this bullshit about Argentina that isn't true at all. So I was like, I have to take this guy down. Because like a lot of these like token minorities, they'll like they'll act like they represent you. Like for example, another if you're Korean, another Korean guy will be like, this is how it is in Korea. And then everybody believes them. So like I really hated that. And then I started like cracking down on Anna Kasparian, who I also think is awful. She was like spreading all of this misinformation about the Middle East. And like it was just bullshit. I was like, I couldn't take it. So I started trolling her too. And then in the beginning, I was just being a troll. I'm going to be honest. Like, I was just being a troll. And then people were like, oh, like maybe you should interview this. I was like, interview? Like, I don't even know how to interview. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a journalist.
You probably could do a better job than a lot of the journalists, because the thing is that the journalists ask these pre-canned questions that are boring as fucking shit. You know what I mean? And I actually do enjoy your show. I'm actually waiting for these interviews to come out. I'm. You're ready. You're ready. Let's see. Yeah. We'll get, let's go out there. I would be glad to, like, we're both in New York City. I'd be glad to like go with you and jump out at someone and pop the interview. You know what I mean? I'm down.
Yeah, you can come on. I'll interview you.
That's cool. That's cool. Whatever. I'm down for whatever. I'm down for it all. We could go to actually live public events and just make stuff happen there too. Yeah. I'm doing yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not set up to do live things because literally the only thing I have right now is my computer camera. But if you have like some equipment, then we can do that. Go somewhere.
You know, actually, I have
That
a
would be
PA
fun.
system. I'm a show ready to go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So what up? Okay, so you started your show. You started trolling people. But what's the current are you still trolling? Is that like a main focus of the show, or what are you like trying to accomplish nowadays?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I don't actually see anything wrong with trolling.
It's fine.
Like I don't hold myself above that. Like I'm not too good for it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think trolling is an important part of like showing people just like the inconsistencies of the media and stuff is like
I
big
agree.
part of
I agree.
you know
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm a more tolerable troll on YouTube than I was before, when I would just like answer people on Facebook. I was like a horrible troll, and I'm much more annoying in writing. You know what I mean? So like with YouTube, I feel like people can tell that you're joking a little bit, or they can understand sarcasm, whereas when you're writing things down, it just like maybe comes across as really mean and um not well intended. So like in both situations I'm the same troll, but like at least in on video I feel like it I can communicate. I don't know if I'm kind, but like it seems to go down easier for me at least.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of I purposely, have you heard of something called the Yellow Brick Road?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so what's interesting is that there's a group of YouTubers that are, like-minded, like politically. Actually, they do watch your material too. We've actually talked about your show, and the thing is that they're actually, a lot of them have taken on moderated positions for like some of the better known shows, and it's like a small community of YouTubers, and it's cool because of so we talk about other YouTubers and like just like what we think. I think your reception of your material has been positive. I've been a fan of it, and yeah, we just hanging out. So it's a cool place. We also watch UFC fights and stuff. They stream it through Discord. So we'd be hanging out and just watching fights and stuff, or movies. They just tried to tell me that Last Samurai is a good movie, so I have a lot of trust in my boy. I was real skeptical, but I'm willing to give it a chance. So we might watch it this weekend. I don't know. Yeah. But I'm doing a lot of other things too. People's parties, actually. I'm still organized with the New York branch, and we're having a lot of events coming up. So I'd like to invite you, and I think there could be a lot of. I just signed up for Extinction Rebellion this week. They're having their. I think that'd be a cool group to join as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah, I think that's a good group to join.
That you have a lot of videos that you've made so far, right? Do you have like a favorite one, or which one do you think is probably one of your better representative videos for your channel?
I feel like I like some of the earlier ones before I started using StreamYard, because I've realized I'm not very good live, because I get distracted when people like put in their comments, and then I lose my train of thought. So the earlier videos where I was not live, I feel like I put a lot of thought and energy into them, and I wasn't as easily distracted. But I'm getting better with the new format.
One thing that yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
One thing that might be interesting is sometimes we talk about the other content creators on the Yellow Brick Road. So we like to share like different strategies. And one strategy that I was told about was going live for a long time throws you up higher, as in terms of it pushing it towards your viewers. So they'll just like when they see, like when they go to the homepage, they'll say, "Oh, you're live now." So what they do is they go on live on these marathon sessions, sometimes like 8-9 hours, and people will cycle in and out, and they found that as a way to build their channel. I haven't really done that, but that might be a strategy.
That's what people told me, so that's why I started using it, and then I just ended up liking StreamYard as just like a tool. But I feel like for me it doesn't work. Maybe I'll go back to the old.
Who told you about that?
The people that were looking at the video. Actually, like I feel like the people that look at the videos are the ones that give you most of the ideas, really.
Who is the names, actually? Those people might be from the Yellow Brick Road. They actually reach out to producers. They might be doing, people from there might be doing it separately and not even aligned with me. Who is saying that in the comments? Do you remember?
So many people, like the audience members. That's what's interesting about this YouTube thing. Like the members are like a wealth of knowledge, and people from all over the country, and like you end up learning so much for them that I'm like honestly shocked. I'm like, why are you listening to me? I should be listening to you. Like that's been, and honestly, like there are some things politically that I'm like good at, that I have knowledge on, but other things I don't have a lot of knowledge on.
So you said your earlier stuff is better. Maybe there was an episode where you talked about more stuff that you were knowledgeable on. Like what, do you remember an episode that was like that?
Well, I think if you guys like just see which episodes I have on Haiti, I kind of meshed it in between like trolling a few YouTube hosts, but I like my stuff on Haiti. I feel like, I don't think it's hard to be predictive because this stuff was going on the entire time. But the entire time leading up to this whole border crisis where Haitians appeared at the border, I made at least 2 episodes on Haiti where I was like, listen, do you know that Citibank owes Haiti over $20 billion in for their independence debt? Or did you know that President Biden, like maybe the DEA was implicated in the assassination of the Haitian president? I talked about that stuff, and then when people appear at the border, everyone acts like this is shocking. The Caribbean islands are very close to us, and just like the level of like misinformation here, like people don't even bother to find out what's going on. not even in countries that are far away, that like countries that are really close, that are very close to our borders, and then everybody's shocked when all of these people show up at the border. So I think like, you know, those I think those videos I'm pretty like well informed in, because you know what New York City's like. There's people from all over the world here. Um and there's people from the Caribbean everywhere.
You know, I
You
pretty
know?
much,
And
yeah, yeah.
like
The Haitian Dominican Republic thing is crazy. The health crisis, the poverty in Haiti is crazy. You know, the humanitarian, it's just insane. Yeah. So that's what actually made you decide to. But you're actually Argentinian. So what made you get involved with the Haitian issues?
well, I'm not sure how involved I am, but like I just feel like people should, especially with the countries that are really close to our borders, you know, countries like Mexico, Haiti. This isn't like I feel like there's no excuse anymore for not knowing anything about these countries. If you don't know anything about, okay, you know, like Kazakhstan, you know, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be informed about the entire world, but it's a little bit more forgivable. I feel like we're just in a crisis of just American exceptionalism where people don't even think it's necessary to understand their closest neighbors. And I think that's really messed up. And our closest neighbors are basically, you know, Mexico, Canada, the Caribbean islands. If you don't know why these people are showing up here and these like countries are like very close to our borders, Haiti is closer to the East Coast than Hawaii.
You
You
know,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
or
You know,
Alaska.
it's
So
closer to the
like
mainland than Hawaii.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is an inexcusable level of ignorance. Like you know,
Hmm.
you don't have to agree with people on the other side, like other political side, but you should at least know where these people are coming from. Like literally every time someone
Well,
appears at
yeah,
the border from these border countries, people
yeah.
are like, where do these people come from? I don't understand what happened. You know, like
You know,
you should understand what happened.
there's some freaky stuff for me too because like if I feel like my life was turned upside down by the Korean War. I grew up with extreme level of violence. I'm kind of like here in this country where, you know, my people can't become leaders even though they're supposedly like well qualified and stuff, whatever, right? So the thing is that um, when I look at like people don't even know the Korean War happened. They're like, what? Where's Korea? You know, like they destroyed my entire like life and country, right? Yeah, and they don't even know that like Korea. What's that? You know, so the amount of disinformation or just I'm not gonna say ignorance, but just people just don't know. It just doesn't impact their daily lives, and there's a strong commercial message out there, right? That it's okay for us to watch TV for entertainment. But the fact of the matter is, like the public housing thing, right, that I'm working on right now, there's billions of dollars at stake right there, billions. And the fact of the matter is that, you know, it costs them money to have to deal with people asking questions. They don't want us asking questions anymore. They don't even believe that we are smart enough for the truth, right? Fucking Fauci, wear a mask, don't wear a mask. You know what I mean? They don't even pretend to give us the respect of the truth anymore. GMOs, you're not allowed to know that it's GMOs or not, right? It's absurd. So, you know, we just have to really fight for the truth, and we can only trust each other. The TV cannot, right? The thing is that I went to Al Sharpton to support this Andrew Yang because he wouldn't bring up certain issues, right? I'm an Asian American guy, one of the top guys in the Yang gang, right? Yeah, protesting Yang at National Action Network. Al Sharpton clipped me from the Instagram footage. You could watch it for yourself, yeah? There's just too much money at stake. Right, you can. People think that they can just a politician can walk in and change the direction of millions, billions of dollars and just refund into another direction. Hell no. There's a lot of money at stake. You gotta wake the fuck up, you know what I mean? People could get shot over 30 G's or 30 G deal inside of a hotel room, you know what I mean? Trying to move like a key, you know what I mean? If you moving millions and billions of dollars, people getting Epstein's like that, you know? It's insane. You know who's buying the actually public housing right now? It's the schools, so they don't have to pay taxes because of education. You know, it's just the level of corruption and the working together is whoa. It's yeah. That's why I watch people like yourself.
Wait, I have to let my dog out. Just a second.
Oh yeah.
All right. All right. I agree. Yeah, like the schools, especially the universities. Columbia University was just like it's like one of the biggest gentrifiers. It always has been.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now it's probably also, the state, like the local high schools and stuff like that.
Actually, what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to have a national symposium for education and activate the student movement. I actually emailed every single student government in New York City because look at all this talk about students, right? What do they say? Relieve student debt, right? But there's no talk about the corruption. There's no talk about the bloated administration, about the ridiculously high cost of schools in the first place. They absolutely should not be costing what they're costing now, right? They just want to keep bailing out because they want to keep feeding the corrupt system that's paying corrupt administrators, fucking political fucking lackeys, and real estate developers that are buying up properties because really the educational institutions are no longer educational, they're financial institutions. Let's be
They're
real.
financial institutions, and they
Yeah.
use that debt to finance real estate
Yeah,
deals.
yeah, that has nothing to do with education. It's financial. So we just need to wake the fuck up and reject the bullshit. Yeah. So it's honestly you cannot expect commercial TV to carry this message. There's too much money at stake. You must seek new information. So props to you on being out there. Oh, by the way, I'm on Rumble as well, and Rumble actually monetized my channel. So if you want to just move ahead, and I heard that YouTube is making all kinds of, you got to have backups now. YouTube is too
Oh
weird.
yeah. I'll definitely check it out on Rumble. I tried posting one or two videos and then I stopped.
You're on Odyssey too, right?
No.
No, Odyssey is good because it whatever you have on YouTube, it will once you upload to YouTube, it automatically uploads to Odyssey. So it's just like a safe backup. Either way, it's very easy to integrate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, so you've been a YouTuber for a while now. What has your perspective changed from when you started to like now?
Well, I only started this summer.
So there's no change?
Well, I'm from YouTube.
I'll tell you, okay. One thing is that like you're probably paying attention to more things. You're probably better informed than before because you're always interacting with content.
Well, I think like in the beginning I was really like venting, and now it's like I'm not venting as much. I'm like, okay, how can I make this into some kind of productive thing? One thing I was hoping to do, which hasn't been very successful, is like is like, as you know, since you talk to all of these housing groups, affordable housing is like, and like the tenant groups, that's like the core of activism basically in New York City, because like the most important, like the hardest thing here is just like finding affordable rent, finding a place to live, etc. There are community land trusts and stuff like that in the New York City area, but whenever like these political campaigns, people are like, oh, will come to they'll come to they'll go to Queens, Staten Island, the Bronx, all the boroughs, and they'll say like, vote for me, I'll fund affordable housing. But when they're saying fund affordable housing, it's not like they're giving you money so that you can buy your own home. You know what I mean? They like, it's like they just want like eternal dependence on them, kind of. To fund these programs.
That's exactly what they want.
And I don't believe in that, and I feel like there are enough of us to kind of really, maybe if we came together, we could put together some land trust movement where we all pitch in money and we start up buying plots of land, instead of like donating to politicians. And then we could use the land, even if it's just a small plot. Like you could just, even if you get together and buy one small plot, and you put a garden there or like a few housing units, I feel like that would be a big success in my view. Like, because then it would prove that like we could come together and actually build something physical, not just like build something ideological,
There's a lot of groups out there that are like self-sustainability, like community, like co-ops and stuff like that. Have you gotten involved with any of those?
Well, I live in a co-op,
Oh,
so
wait, okay.
I'm like a big fan of co-ops. But there aren't enough co-ops.
There's like
So
so
like,
there's regular co-ops, which is people have their own apartments, and then there's like ultra hippie co-ops where people are sharing everything, like the living space, right, the bathrooms, everything. Which
well,
co-op are you in?
I just live in a regular co-op.
Okay, that's cool.
I'm not so into the ultra hippie thing because like, I feel like then that becomes like a social thing where you have to get along with everyone in the group and like, you have to I don't know. It's too much for me. I feel like
I
just
feel you.
regular co-ops, like we don't have to go that far left into like hippie land. Like we just need more regular co-ops. We need more like publicly owned land. We need more people like contributing to these efforts. And
Some people
like
think that
my
society,
ideal
yeah,
would be is if there was like an actual funding funnel for actual like community owned land instead of just elections. Everybody's, because like everything else, even like mutual aid, if you help someone with rent,
yeah.
$5 with rent, that money's going to the landlord. It's not going to be help the community in perpetuity as much as you want to be helpful to help someone with their rent.
People are moving out of New York City at a crazy rate. And also the property values are artificially kept high by the government in order to prevent real estate developers from losing money.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see it because like you'll see like the trashiest places and it'll be like $1 million for this home that looks like a junkyard or something, or it's empty and it's
Yeah.
like,
What do you
you
think is going
know
to happen? You think that New York's going to actually have a lot of people already moving out of New York City? You think that the rents are going to actually fall? You think that the property, it could be another bubble. It could be another market correction.
I don't think it's gonna fall. Because the thing with New York is that it's become kind of like a speculation hub for the global rich, not even just the American rich. So nearly anyone in the world can buy an apartment here or buy some land and just kind of hold it like a stock. And that's the value. The value is that it will always appreciate. So people have faith that the land here will always appreciate, and that's why people keep investing in it. And I don't think it's going to pop in the same way as like other real estate bubbles have popped. Like it'll definitely pop all around New York City. Like, Camden, that bubble popped like when the home prices went down there. Some of the outer states, New Jersey in some areas. But even those places that people are like, "Oh, I'm going to invest here. It's close enough to New York City and it's cheap." So,
Yeah,
um,
there's a lot of Chinese investment going on big time. I can provide actually some more pictures of what's going on there. One of the things is that China tries to keep all the money within their own government. Like they don't allow money to leave the country. So millionaires who are in China want to actually have their money free to do what they want. So they stash the money through overseas. That's one thing. Another thing is that a lot of people are worried about the Chinese government having a huge correction in the amount of money that their thing is worth, because the thing is that they know they built all those ghost cities and stuff. They know, and that's gonna fall. They also know that there's the thing is that in the Chinese society, right? They had like the one child policy and they killed off almost all the females. So the thing is that, right, it's like 10 to 1, like guys to females. That's a very unhealthy society right there. If you look at all the angst right here about, this man woman stuff, that over there has got to be magnified by a huge amount. That's not a stable society right there. So that's going to cause a huge industry, right, problem. They can't even reproduce at a certain rate. So that's going to be huge when all those old guys go into the system. That's going to be the economy's going to be hurt so bad. So they believe that the economy is going to crash. So they want to hide their money overseas. That's another reason. Yeah. Also, Chinese love to own property. They can't own property in China, but they can own property overseas, just not completely legally, because they're not allowed to own things outside of China. So
yeah, yeah, I know that. Like, I've been reading about the Evergrande scandal, and the real estate bubble in China and all of those people protesting
Yeah.
outside of Evergrande because they put down a down payment for a home, and like the company isn't delivering their what they actually bought.
Yeah. Plus we
It's
have all,
really fucked up.
yeah, we have all the diplomats here too. So we have all the countries with all the corrupt people pouring their money into the system over here, buying their luxury spots.
Yeah. But like it's not, at least the Chinese, they, I mean, honestly, there's less homelessness there. Like over here, there, you can't just have these cities just be like, at, just a place to stash money for people that have money. Like, these are physical areas that people need to live in order to get to work.
Yeah.
And I think there should be like some, right to, what is it? That like in order to own, at some point, we're gonna have to like advocate for an actual law that protects this land, like something where it's like, okay, you can live here if you work here.
Yeah.
So that people, otherwise it's like there's all of these empty apartment buildings, empty units owned by God knows who all over the city, and then people are commuting like 5, 3, 4 or whatever hours to get into the city to go to, I mean, hopefully that'll change a little bit with remote work, but
you know what would be an ill plan? Okay, so check this out, because the thing is that this goes, I don't know if you saw that video that I talked about like back during the Obama era, but the thing is that, right, during that era, they said that they're having problem paying for repairs in public housing. So the thing is that they're going to bring in the private sector to help pay for repairs. The private sector gets to own these apartments after doing those repairs. What happens if we said someone like yourself, right, if your apartment's owned by Cornell or, Columbia or whatever, right, first of all, those get public tax money, a lot of it, right, and they shouldn't be in this business anyways, so we force them to sell the apartments to you, right? Whatever rent you're paying has been converted into mortgage payments, and also to help you secure your place, right? Instead of rental assistance, we provide mortgage assistance. Now we're really investing in people that have lived in the community, yeah, and giving them a way forward with something to stand on, right? The rights to the property that they live in, right? And we really democratize the process greatly. So I think that could be a hot, if we just work together, there's no reason why we couldn't win, right? A lot of people, right? We could just...
That's
Yeah.
what I think, like if you think about all of the money that goes into these go nowhere campaigns, basically. Like Bernie raised like $23 million. It was like each quarter he raised that much, not even like as a whole. You can tell me like you only need a few people to like pull together their money to get $20,000, which is like a down payment for an apartment or a house.
Okay.
And then you could like finance the rest with like donations, and then have the people that live there pay back into the fund. That's how community land trusts are run for the most part. It's like everybody pitches in, and then whoever ends up benefiting from it has to pay back into the fund.
Well, our properties are for sale now.
Helping with rent, helping people with rent is just a direct payment to the top 1%, basically. We're just like helping people. We think we're helping, but like in the long run, we're just like, I mean, it's not a bad thing to help people however you can, but like a little bit more organization would go so far. And there's this like, I know the people from the Bronx Community Land Trust, and they're always trying to get people organized, and they have trouble getting people to donate because it's like not a very wealthy area. If if we actually organized in a way through these channels, whatever, to actually build a land trust locally, I would consider it like much more successful than like...
How much would you need to get into a land trust?
I don't know, because actually this is like part of the problem. Part of the problem is that you're not going to solve everyone's problem.
Actually, I know
housing,
yeah.
Right? So like, basically, the thing with elections, like electoral politics, is that even though it's like we get almost nothing done, you can still kind of have the illusion where it's like, okay, maybe someday someone will pass a law that will help me. And then that's why people throw their money into this kind of stuff, because like with the illusion that someone will pass a law that will help everyone, kind of. But that like has not happened in years. It almost never happens. So it's like,
You know, the thing is that, right, even when they pass the laws in a good way, right, like this repair bill was meant to actually give the problems to people like yourself, it gets, and during the implementation time, it gets twisted in another way. So that you can pass whatever law you want, but then if people just don't follow it, or if they just apply it another way, right, it gets all screwed up.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. And then with the land trust, it's like maybe some of the people that donate are like, okay, but I didn't get to live there, so why should I donate to a place that I didn't get to live?
Well,
And
yeah.
it's like,
If we
you
look at the
know,
real estate developers, right, they buy so much advertising, they have their own TV channel called HGL-TV. Do you buy any ads? No, right? Who would benefit from a program like we're proposing? Pepsi? Coke? Rose Properties, right? The luxury real estate developer? No. Only you and me. That's why the TV won't carry that message. Also, if we look at the value of how much the real estate company has to make, the thing is that, right, your apartment, right, the thing is that once you own it, the value of the apartment might go up from gentrification. I know with the public housing flipping to private market, it automatically raised the price, honestly, by probably about $500,000. Because if it's public housing, sometimes you only get $200, $10 a month, because it's a percent of the person's income. Now the apartment in Manhattan, Queensbridge, could go to $3,000 a month in rent easily.
yes.
Easily, yeah. That could easily raise the property value by $500,000. If we have 200 apartments in a development, that's $100 million for that development alone. So the thing is that, right, the developers understand that, and they'll siphon off, right, $1,000 from 200 developments, right, and make a $200,000 job, and just make it someone's full-time job, paid very well. Two people paid very well, right, to market all day, push a message in a certain way, you know what I mean? And yeah. And even though the people stand to gain, there's just no messaging in that direction. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to hang huge signs off the building, like Occupy NYCHA, but people just, without the backing of people like yourself, right, carrying the message, it just hasn't reached critical mass. But we'll get there.
Yeah, and it's crazy because there's like tenant associations all around the city, but like we're not able to work in coordination even with the people that agree with us, because there's like no common goal. People are just organized individually within their own buildings. It's not like really, you know, and like these companies, they just have the same strategies. Like there's a company called Related Companies.
Yeah, I know about them. Yeah, they're one of the biggest.
Yeah, Related Companies. So Related Companies, they like they're horrible because basically they're buying up like pieces of land, right?
Yeah.
Near me, there's like accidental fires. There's accidental fires, and like nobody knows if it's accidental or not, right? There's two buildings that went on fire, like basically 1 year after another. So it's like
money.
Clearly a strategy that they're using. They're setting buildings on fire, and in each one, it was like 100 families got evicted. It was like 100 families in 2017 and 100 families in 2018. One building after another. And then those buildings were vacant for like 2 to 3 years, and now they're building. If you walk by, they're building like 2 more floors on top of it. So they basically set these buildings on fire. Everybody got evicted, and now they're building the air rights. You know? I don't know if they reimburse the people that live there, or if they put them somewhere else, or if they were just like, you know, go find your own way. But Related Companies is like, it's not just gentrification, you know, like they're actively pushing people out of their homes. And then they're also advertising through the progressive politicians, like AOC, like she did a thing in Queens where she said like Related Companies is helping us to fund this nursing home, which is going to be like an affordable housing, blah blah blah, and Related Companies had funded it. So they pay the progressive politicians to like advertise for them as they're burning people out of their homes, literally. Like
They expect to make 100 million on one development alone. They'll easily take a couple million and just push it in certain directions. When the TV, right, and I get it why the politicians bend. When they go to the TV station, the TV says, look, we know there's certain things you're working on. We know you want your brand out there. We know you want us talking about you, and we can do that. But this thing, there's just too much money in it. We can't allow you to talk about that. And then they say, okay, right? The thing is that if we need to be able to bring up the power on our end. If we don't work as hard as those corporations do, then we don't deserve to win. So the fact of the matter is that we have to go out there and start hitting harder and like we fucking mean it, and stop whining about shit. Oh, what are we gonna do? And start fucking doing shit. You know what I mean? So another thing that we have to do is we have to capture the imagination. So I'm trying to organize a national symposium on the project for New York, people in California, people in Chicago. Those are the 3 largest cities in the nation. We could also try to get on public access TV. So you've seen that we've already had some coalition meetings. I'm going to try to bring some people in. I think it should be a good time. But notice that the mainstream media, I assure you, even progressive media, you're going to see, even though this is important, you'll see they won't cover it. You'll see.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. They have their own narrative going on.
They do, yeah. No, they definitely do.
That's all right. Welcome to the club. We're going to make some real changes. I'm excited. I go to a lot of events, too. I meet a lot of people. We got some cool things planned. We're trying to organize a convention down here in New York City, the New York People's Party. So maybe we'll have, you should come. Be one of the panelists. That would be cool.
I thought that you didn't like the People's Party. I haven't, all I know about them is online, basically.
Okay. That's Nick
I
Brana.
don't really know
Because Nick
who the
Brana,
people
right, yeah,
are.
thinks that he runs MPP. But it's a People's Party. The New York People's Party, right, yeah? Actually, just so you know, they're talking about Florida right now, but the only place I think they have it under their control is Florida and California, maybe. But California also has rebel elements as well. Remember that guy, Jerry Perez, who used to be in All Day Stuff? Remember, he disappeared out of there. You know what I mean? Saying that they were undemocratic. Seattle already has something called the United Assembly, whatever something. New York's is, you know, sympathetic. New Jersey's talking about it too. Connecticut's out. Oregon's out. Yo, I know all their business, right? The thing is that there's people on the ground who are really about doing the work, who are honest people. But Nick Brana is just taking all the money. We have, actually, the minutes are publicly available if anyone wants to see it, right, at the New York People's Party. I asked Phil publicly at the last meeting, I said, yo, man, you guys getting 8 G's a month, man. You know what I mean? You've been around for a while. We could use some money to organize some events down here. We are the largest city in the nation. We already were very successful at Schumer's. We took 10,000 signatures there. I don't know if you saw that video. Kicked ass, right? Yeah? I'll send it to you so you could see it. We could be getting you big news. We right by Schumer's. We could do a lot of stuff over here. We've gotten zero, right? Yeah, and they're like, oh, we're talking about it. Shut up. You know what I mean? Either you're doing something or you're talking about it.
Yeah, you know, like, I feel like it's almost better even to just be like individual kamikaze type things on YouTube or than to have like this organized, centralized, because if it's still like central, if the People's Party, I don't know that much about them, but if it's still centralized and they still ask for donations that they don't send back out, like the only point of a centralized system would be if you take in donations, and then if someone in Mississippi needs money, you send some money. If someone in New York needs money for something, you try to send some money. And I feel like they kind of suffer from the same problem as the community land trusts. It's like they don't want to, they know that they can't help everyone with the money they get. So they basically decide to help no one. Like they know that whatever donations they get, like so in order to not do favoritism or whatever, they end up doing nothing, which I feel like is where most electoral politics is going. Like they collect all of this money to run their campaigns. They don't distribute any of it to the activists, whatever, on the ground that need it, because they want to play. Sorry, are you okay? You know what I mean.
I'm just smoking a fat one, yeah? But, okay, I'm very glad to have this conversation because a lot of people talk about this thing called electoral politics, yeah? And they say they don't believe it. But let's talk about that for a second. So the thing is that I've actually owned several businesses as well. I don't know if you heard about that. I've also been homeless, things like that. And the thing is that one of the things that makes mankind so powerful is the fact that we can work as a society to achieve division of labor, right? People can specialize in certain topics. Not everybody can be an expert in fixing computer chips. You know what I mean? Not everybody can be experts in making fucking dope edibles or growing bud. What's up? Bruce Banner in the house. You smoke weed? What's up? I'll hook it up. You know what I mean? Do you? You smoke? You can't admit it? It's legal now.
Well, I actually don't like smoking that much. I do smoke occasionally, usually if someone else buys it. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not like a regular smoker because I'm like borderline asthmatic. So it's just like, for me, it's a little bit too much.
You can do edibles.
Yeah, I know I can do edibles. I haven't really gone out of my way to do it.
Maybe you don't like it. Yeah, the high is different that way. It's all good.
I like drinking more, honestly.
Oh, you a wine drinker?
I'm not a heavy drinker, but like, I don't like to smoke. I don't like as much the physical action of smoking.
You know, actually, you ever see like Mariah Carey at New Year's? Did you see that?
I mean, she was really drunk, like the drunkest I've ever seen anyone.
So
that performance? Yeah.
Okay, so, right? The thing is that I'm a performer. So, a lot of places that I used to perform would have like free drinks. But I noticed when I drank, right? Yeah, that my performance was not acceptable to me. I did not feel good about it, yeah? But when I smoke, my performance is still acceptable. So, I became definitely about the smoking, you know what I mean? It's all good. But either way, right? Doesn't matter, yeah. So, okay, let's move on. So the thing is, also I'm trying to get us onto cable access, right, in California and Chicago. So that would be a nice way to really connect with a new community of people, you know? Yeah.
That's cool, yeah. To get on cable, that would be huge.
You know, Brooklyn Cable Access, they accept admissions from anybody. You don't even have to live in Brooklyn. So you can submit yourself and get... Brooklyn is actually, I think, larger than... Maybe as large as Los Angeles. It's a very large. It's the largest borough
yeah.
of New York City. It's huge, yeah. It's probably not up there, but it's bigger than a lot of cities, to tell you the truth. Yeah. So what's up? All right, cool. So let me think. What you have any particular projects coming up that you're excited about?
Any particular parties?
Projects, yeah.
Not really. Like, you know, you mean projects for YouTube
For
or
your show,
in general?
For your brand, I don't know. Maybe come out with a website, mailing list, I don't know.
I don't actually plan it that much. Like, usually I try to follow the news. If there's something that kind of inspires me to say something, like I'm not trying to cover the news the way a news channel does. I'm just like commenting. Because the schedule of streaming like every day or something, I can't do it because I have a part-time job. I'm taking some classes. It's just too much. So I just, whenever something kind of strikes my fancy, I talk about it. I try to talk about just like the stuff I see in my daily life, basically. Like I've been helping people out a lot with these excluded worker fund applications. So I talk about that. You know, I talk about stuff I see on the news, stuff that people I meet, you know. It's very random, honestly. I'm surprised that there's a consistent thread.
I might qualify for the excluded worker fund. So after the interview, I'm going to ask you some stuff about that. I might be applicable. I don't know.
Oh, really? You qualify? Yeah, you can ask.
I don't know. I'll ask you. I'll ask you when the dates are. What are the dates for that?
Well, it's for people that are not citizens.
Oh, okay.
The excluded workers funds. So okay. I'm not used. I mean, maybe you're not a citizen, but you seem like. I
worked during the pandemic, so maybe I was thinking maybe I would get some money or something, because I was maybe excluded from getting, you know, the unemployment money bonus. You know what I mean? So I thought maybe I could get some of
Maybe you'll qualify for pandemic unemployment, but I think the
that. No,
the
I
deadline
worked
for
during
the-
some of it, so. Oh, I got some of it too. I got some of the unemployment too. That was a lot of fucking money. I appreciated that shit. You get that? Did you get that?
I got unemployment last year. Yeah.
With the 600?
I got the $1,200. Yeah.
And plus the 600 for the whole time? That was like, geez.
I
that
think
was
I got
good.
the 600.
Yeah, that was fucking great. I fucking really appreciate that. Helped a lot. Wow.
Yeah. It's weird because like
Yeah, people who were illegals didn't get that. That's they hurting.
yeah, so like the people that are illegal, they didn't get anything last year.
Oh, you know what's
And
really cool actually? You might like this, yeah? The People's Party introduced a resolution that people who are illegal immigrants, right, still get to be members of the People's Party. They get to vote in some internal stuff. Yeah, they can't vote in the actual general election. That's not up to us. But if they're part of our community and they interact with us, then they get to be a part of what we do. It's not about whatever government labels. It's just about who we interacted with. That's our community. That's the people right there.
yeah. I'm not sure like I feel like have you ever been to one of those meetings where they do simultaneous translation?
Yeah.
So like those kinds of things, if the People's Party did something like that, it might work. If you don't actually have the technology for it or like a translator on the spot, it doesn't really like you can say, oh, illegal immigrants are welcome, whatever, but they're not going to show up because like they're not comfortable outside their language. So it's just like a little bit weird for them, But if the People's Party had some kind of system where they translated and they don't have to translate to every language, but for example,
Like
they'd have to have Spanish in the Bronx. They'd have to have like Chinese, Korean, and Queens. Like they'd have to have just a few of the most commonly spoken languages at the very least.
Yeah, one bootleg solution that we're kind of working on right now is, that we kind of have in place now that could be is, the thing is that there's, for the disability community, right, a lot of people lose their hearing later on in life. So the thing is that they don't really know the sign language very well. So the text-to-speech, speech-to-text is actually very helpful for them. And they can run through the translators. Yeah, I know the automatic translators, such as, that'll do it in real time. Sometimes it comes out sounding real funny. In fact, one of the hilarious things that people do is they'll take a song, they'll push it through the translator, and they'll pull it back, and it sounds like the most crazy thing you've ever heard in your life. But that's the best thing that we have right now. It's low budget, and we got to work with what we have. Yeah. So, but yeah, look, that's just we're all just doing the best we can do. So that's the low budget solution for now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Working on it though. Yeah. So, what's up? You speak Spanish?
I speak Spanish.
Okay.
The Spanish, it's like there's different accents too. I don't know. I thought about the fact like, okay, so I don't know how it is, with Korean or, but Spanish language channels in the United States are another form of like really bad mainstream media propaganda.
Oh, really?
And so like, we're always making fun of, like people make fun of MSNBC or Fox News, whatever, because like they say the most outrageous shit and like nobody holds them accountable.
Yeah.
But Univision and stuff, they're exactly the same. They're awful, like Univision.
Actually,
Telemundo.
one thing that we've been hoping is, because remember I said the mainstream media will not carry our stories. So one thing that I've heard is that they say Spanish reporters will cover anything. So one of our hopes is to try to get onto Spanish TV because we know that the mainstream media is not covering us. Is there any chance? What do you think about that strategy? You think Spanish?
I think it would be a great strategy because.
Oh, word? Okay, we're gonna give it a shot.
Because like at least Spanish, because Spanish is like probably the most common language spoken by immigrants, probably followed by the Chinese or I don't know, maybe Creole, just like the most common ones.
Now I got this artist named Dobley J. He's also an activist, and I might be going out to Union Square next weekend with my turntables and everything. We're gonna set up a little show, which should be dope. Yeah, you should come out, hang out with us. Are you
Okay.
down? Yeah. Yo, he's a Dominican rapper. I'll put his he's got good music. I'll put his link in the thing. Yeah,
Okay.
no doubt.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Like Univision is crazy propaganda. Like sometimes I watch it and I'm like, this is so much worse than MSNBC, but I can't talk about it on my YouTube show because nobody gets it. Or not everybody gets it, so it's like divisive, to talk about. But Univision is really fucked up.
We
And
should
that
talk
dude
about it
on
because you know what? That's
uh,
a unique story, and that's a new member. That's a new viewership. You could actually, in that space, since you're the only one really kind of talking about it in this space, it might make you blow up in a way that you just didn't fucking expect.
yeah, I actually I had thought about trolling Jorge Ramos. Jorge Ramos is like the Anderson Cooper of Univision, like Spanish American TV,
Get him.
and he's like a joke. But everybody knows he's a joke, except for the funny thing about him is that like he goes on Fox News to defend immigrants and stuff, so people think he's some kind of like immigration activist, and like all the Democrats are like, "Yay, Jorge Ramos!" But Jorge Ramos is a total like establishment hack,
He
total
doesn't do anything
troll.
without permission, right?
He plays the game, like the divisive game, where he went up to Trump, and then Trump like threw him out of the room. I don't know if you remember that. Trump threw him out of the room back when he was in office.
Okay, nah. I actually was gone for a lot of the time while Trump was president. I was in another country.
Oh, where were you?
I was in Grenada.
Where?
Grenada.
Grenade?
Grenada. Grenada. It's the
Grenada? Oh,
southernmost Caribbean
wow.
country.
What's it
Yeah.
like there?
It's all right. I actually got cut up, and I was actually ejected from the country. They took my passport. I was actually on a mission to try to lower death rates in Grenada. I actually was working in the Ministry of Health. I have emails. But yeah, I got cut up by a guy at the medical school. He still works there. And that's all on the video on another channel. So that was,
Wow.
yeah, I actually had some blowback because if you also type in the word Hunter College corruption on another channel called Ed Lee, which is, I actually revealed administrators at that school, which is actually a funneling school for medical schools. I don't know if you know about Hunter College, right? It's the pre-med CUNY school. So I revealed that administrators were going or having cell phones paid for and going on trips on student money. And yeah, so I think that there was some payback for some of that. And just it was ugly, yeah. But oh well, I'm still here. They couldn't kill me, so what's up?
Wow, I'd like to hear that detail maybe some other
I have
time.
videos. You
Because
can
I
watch
didn't
it.
really understand too much of that, but Grenada.
I'll send you some videos, yeah. I'm there with like local music artists and stuff, doing like interviews and stuff. It's a good time.
Yeah. Well, I hear it's a nice place though.
I had a good time. I was there for a couple of years. I was there. I left just as Trump got elected, and then the only thing that I really saw when I was over there, I actually got involved in politics over there. I actually made some commentary. Actually, you know what? What's interesting is Grenada had a socialist revolution, and they're actually supposedly the only non-violent socialist revolution that ever happened in history, supposedly. After they had the socialist revolution, Reagan knocked off. Reagan actually knocked off, worked with the sub-leader to knock off Marcus Garvey, I think. No, not Marcus Garvey. It was shit.
Whatever the leader was, like he did with all the others too.
Yeah, yeah, and that was crazy. So the medical school was also involved in that story, so you could look that up. But I actually interviewed a guy who was actually in that resistance, and I asked him what he thought was necessary, right, for the socialist revolution to occur again, and why it didn't work out in Grenada. And he said what happens is that there needs to be more political education amongst the masses. More people have to understand what's going on and get involved. And he said that's it. So that's with some ill perspective from Grenada. Actually, Grenada is also the birthplace of Malcolm X's mother.
Yeah.
So I went to go visit
Wow, I
the
didn't know
hometown
that.
where she was born. That was pretty cool. So it was a cool
Yeah.
little pilgrimage out there. Yeah, I did my thing. I also did some stuff with Salvation Army out there, so you could see some of my work with them. It was cool.
Grenada. Yeah. Um, I don't know anyone from Grenada.
It's all right. You can meet some as time goes by. They may stop by. Ooh. I hope it stays cool. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I was actually the guy who cut me up. Actually, he delivers weed to the Minister of Health. So I think Grenada's still cool though, but we'll see. Who knows what could show up? Yeah, who knows? It got hot. Yeah, I'm out of the country now. I don't think they could touch me. We'll see. Anything.
Did you slow down when you were there? Like, did you relax? Did it help you relax?
No, actually, I was right. I was told you that I was. People said life is slow. Hell, like maybe for you, but remember, I was trying to lower death rates on the island. The number one causes were preventable diseases, just like in New York City. Actually, I tried to work with candidates on this issue as well. The thing is that they had a lot of money that they were given. They were given 8 times the money back. They could have run public service announcements, such as the number one killers of people in New York City would be like heart attack and cancer, these preventable diseases. So they could have encouraged people to get screened, right? Or, just spread more awareness and use that money in a constructive way. Instead, we got these stupid videos of people fucking dancing and like looking up at the sky. You know what I mean? Who is that helping? You know what I mean? Get the Paperboy Prince took the money and turned it into free weed. I appreciated that. I got some free weed at the event, so yeah.
That's crazy.
Yo,
Popular politics, I guess. Like, they just want to do a little show and dance for.
That's their understanding, right? Because that's what they are rewarded for. You know? Oh, look, you did such a great dance. You know what I mean? Doing this stuff is thankless. Doing this stuff means that you're not going to get as many of the donations. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? You do it because if you don't do it, who else is going to show up? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. And I guess we'll see
it's
when we
me.
have healthcare shortage here too.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So, yeah. What else do? Anything else you want? What about future plans for Bloom? You gonna keep doing the live thing? What's up? It sounds like maybe moving back off the live thing.
I think I'll try to keep doing it. I want to start interviewing more people. Like, maybe you can come on one of these days and talk, because it's almost like I'm at a point where I've vented enough and I've trolled enough, and now I just kind of want to hear from other people. Like, I don't want to.
I'm ready. I'm ready. You should come hang out with us on the Yellow Brick Road. Yeah. Are you down to do that tonight? Maybe. Are you on Discord?
Right now, I'm totally wiped out.
Are you on Discord?
Maybe next week.
You could just join the Discord and chat with other content producers. You know what I mean? Are you on Discord?
I'm on Discord. I could also come in person to something, but
there's also other things like the
prefer on
Jimmy
the
Dore
weekend.
server. There's the Independent Left News Network. So there's actually quite a few Discords that exist where you can interact with other content producers. Frank Analysis has one as well. Yeah, that's pretty active.
And I'm working in Queens right now, a few days a week. If there's
word?
anything in Queens.
Yo,
Yeah.
I'm actually doing stuff out in Queens right now. Where am I? I'm in, I'm in 50s Hood. I'm in South Jamaica. Yeah? What's up? You're near there?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that hard for me to get there.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
It's a little hot there, yeah? I don't know if I'm ready to put you up in South Jamaica, Queens, yeah? Maybe.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's that
Extinction Rebellion's doing a lot of stuff this week, too. They're a cool group to, get to know organizationally, because later on, if you want to solve the issues, right? I understand when you're talking about, electoral politics and you're nervous about, but you can't stop people from ganging up, you know what I mean? And people working together. One person can build a home, but a team could build a skyscraper. Not that we should all live in skyscrapers, but you can accomplish more by harnessing that energy. So I'm not saying it's right for everything, but we also want to be able to take advantage of those, and we can build comprehensive healthcare plans, things like that, by working together. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I I agree. I just feel like, well, I mean, my feeling with the election stuff is that it's becoming a little bit of a Ponzi scheme, right?
It
It's
is
almost like people don't care
because
to
people are
throw away their
lazy.
money on something that is not very concrete.
That's fair.
If someone had another idea that's not this, like, if it wasn't like, you know, buying people homes or land or community land, but something else that's practical, I would be into it.
Cool.
I just like, I feel like there needs to be a game, you know, like I'm not really coming at it from some activist perspective. I'm coming at it from like kind of, you know, I
Theoretical.
don't know. Like the activism I grew up with that I didn't realize was activism until I met all of these people that do electoral stuff. And then what I realized is that basically like the stuff that my family did with the, like, you know, pitching in for land, like the stuff that happens in the Bronx, that's actually more activism. It's more concrete activism than the, you know, the stuff that people call activism, I guess is what I'm saying. You know, there's a lot of things that are kind of like people do in their daily, and it falls under the radar because it's not as sexy. Like
That's
it's
what
not
the
as
media calls
sexy
activism.
to not win an election and
Yeah.
like make some huge sweeping change.
Yeah. Well, you know, being a DJ, right? Yeah, at the party, right? That's what everybody sees. But you know, they don't really see the hours of work behind the scenes. So there always will be a focus on certain parts that are maybe more theatrical or more dramatic. But you're right. Real activism is also right. The other stuff that doesn't really get talked about or shown. So you're absolutely right. There's more to activism than just you know, a celebrity on the TV screen who's never been on welfare, and why are
Yeah.
we listening to them over people who
And you know,
actually are
like
on welfare? Word up.
speaking of DJ, like that's another form of activism. Like I feel like I've always seen around, like people need to fundraise for something, they put together a party, a DJ, they raise money for something. You know, because people will just go like have drinks, have a good time, maybe some like outdoor location.
I'll
We
do
could
you a
do
lot of
something
events
like
for
that,
free.
you know?
I'll do you a lot of events for free, just to make it live this weekend. Just doing it for free. You know what I mean? I don't care.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, if you could help me get the stuff there. But other than that, I don't give a fuck. I don't need nothing for this shit. You know what I mean? I'm ready. Appreciate it though. You know what I mean? But let's actually. The thing is that what's really cool though, being around this stuff is, you know, there's a lot of dispensaries opening up. So actually, they've given me free stuff to give away. I have all these. I have all these bags right here. Right. I can make your event live. Look at that. I can have a free giveaway at your next event. You know what I mean? I can. So, yo, what's up? Hit me up. You know what I mean? I'll make the music and I'll be like, yo, free shit. What's up?
It's funny, like I like the contrast between our backgrounds because I tried to just put a white wall so that you couldn't see anything, but yours is like, it seems like a collection of things that you've accumulated over the years.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, I watched some videos about like making your back, like make getting more viewers and stuff, and they said like to make the background interesting. So they said to like add layers of depth and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And also I have like, usually I have like a computer monitor over there, and then it flashes like my logo and like, you know, stuff like that. But right now I went to a show and I'm looking for the power cable, but I have to. Yo, good thing you can't see this room because I'm a fucking guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out all of the items, but there's an electric keyboard, boombox, some kind of safe.
No, this is you know what this is? You don't know
Oh,
what this
what's
is?
that?
You don't know about that? It's the lament configuration from the
Okay.
Hellraiser. Pinhead,
Oh,
the box. Yeah, you remember it? Yeah?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Cenobite. What's really good. Yeah, alright. So, yeah.
And what's that doll in the back? The doll.
Oh, that Boba Fett? I had a game store. So I just, this was one of the items that just didn't sell, so I just kept it at the end, yeah? Some of the stuff I dumped, but some of those just more interesting ones I kept. It's just whatever, yeah. I have some Transformers up there, too. Oh, you mean the doll in here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Tulsi right there. Yeah.
Oh,
But the
that's
thing is that-
hilarious.
Yeah, I know Tulsi's hurting right now, and honestly, the latest thing that she's been saying has been disappointing, but This is, I think, a mistake that a lot of people make, right? The thing is that Tulsi is just one person, but really Tulsi is the community, right? Yang is not just one person. Yang Gang is a community, and we need to join these communities together to achieve the change we need, right? Instead of hero worshiping, right? So what if Tulsi says she's just one person in that community? That community, though, can come together and support things that, you know, we need to, important shit to get done, like the things we talked about tonight.
Yeah. I mean, she did seem like a better candidate in the beginning.
You know, yeah, a lot of people just moving past her, you know what I mean?
Well, I think we're just moving past all of these politicians, and because it's like not offering real concrete solutions to anything, and it's, I think what people need right now is like, some kind of small victory.
But remember that we also said that, right? We have that division of labor, right? And a lot of times people aren't ready to do the work, so they just want to put it in someone else's hands, and that leads to problems. People just don't want to do the work. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, people don't want to do the work, but it's also like people also don't know what to do. I think that's another problem.
Let me tell you another problem from my, like, being in the field for like 25 years, yeah? So sometimes we do get the community stuff the way that we try to project it, right? We get like a community neighborhood watch or whatever, right? And things start off great. Maybe even they go for a year or two, right? Then what happens, right? Everybody kind of knows each other, right? Let's pretend like you and me was living in a community, right? Yeah, you and me know each other. We're cool, right? And then let's pretend that I'm the security guard, right? Yeah, likable guy, right? One day I just don't show up for work. Yeah, I'm sick, whatever. Yeah, nothing happens. It's cool. Month goes by, then I take a couple days. You know where this is going, right? Yeah, right? You just didn't say anything, then things start to break down. Nobody says anything. You know, we kind of know each other, and then the whole fucking shit falls apart. Then I move away, then nobody gets replaced because the shit was already downtrodden in the first place. And it always happens. It's a forever war. We must continue to fight for accountability and liberties. People get lazy, though. I swear to you, yeah, I've been in the leadership position before. And what happens is when I'm successful, people get fucking lazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people get lazy, and it's also like, well, that is, the thing is, like, okay, maybe you're saying that there's a Tulsi group, but to people
just even
outside
beyond
of that group,
just beyond that, like community watches or just even like governmental stuff, you know what I mean?
right?
Yeah, I wasn't leading Tulsi group. I was just kind of like an outlaw.
Yeah, it's just that it's hard because like that group is still originally built around a person, so it has to be just like something that's like, you know, the housing group, or like, you know, something very general, something that's like,
Yeah.
you know, even though there's also a downside to those kinds of groups because people are like, they can't identify, you know, like I think we all have like a tendency to want to look towards an authority figure like mom, dad, you know, that will kind of head the organization, something that we can put a face to. And when we don't have that, like people don't know what to do. They're like, you know, who do we turn to?
Yeah. But all groups have factions, and all groups are always sometimes, right, able to, they don't, no group will agree with their leader 100%. And they don't have to turn on that leader, right? But they could still work towards ends that are maybe even opposed that the leader doesn't want. The leader doesn't always have full control, you know? It's really up to their community. No leader can survive, nothing can get done without the support of the community. Because like I said before, right? The implementation phase is key, right? Yeah? The leader cannot control the implementation phase. That's up to the people, right? So he could say what the fuck he wants, you know what I mean? Or she wants, yeah? So the streets still do whatever the fuck they want. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
All
right. So
unrelated question. Have you watched Squid Games on Netflix?
Yo, I saw. Okay, there's this new thing come out, right? Yeah. I don't have Netflix, but there's this Nerd Explain stuff where he talks about like how you would survive these different horror survival games. So I've seen the how you would survive the Squid Game. So I'm aware of the plot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I'm on the last, or I have 2 episodes left.
Have you watched The Platform?
I watched the Netflix.
Okay.
I didn't watch the platform. No.
That's I think on Netflix. Maybe, I don't know. That's also a good, interesting movie.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't
cool.
watch it.
All right, cool. It was really cool to meet you. Yeah. I think that's
Same
all my
concept?
questions for now.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, cool. Hey, thanks again. Yeah. Look forward to
All right.
hang out with you one of these days. All
Okay.
right, peace.
Bye.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond doubt.
platforms. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute Daily Motion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.